More of a like jumble of massive information.
Card of this, right? But Morning Stars, they will be on defense first. Like you said, no KSP. Although the sightlines are pretty good for Ashe on this map, it seems that Goats is the way to go. The free with the Reinhardt on board. I like the positioning so far. It forces One.PoinT to make some decisions as they move up. But Chubb's currently on the Sombra. I think this is just for scouting purposes for the time being. He will go back to spawn with the Translocator, switch over the Reinhardt, and then go again.
He has the benefit of that spawn advantage, so of course he can have a quick scout, change over to the rest of his team. And like I said, we're going to see Goats versus Goats. High ground control obviously going over to Morning Stars. Interesting to see the power things. Some teams, they go for space, they go up the stairs, they take the big loop to point, and it looks like they're going out into that space area. So not much Morning Stars can be able to actually no, not going into space. They're just going to take straight up the stairs, and Leafs already taking the brunt of that force as Morning Stars go on the counter offensive, push them back down there, and just going to hold position, wait for cooldowns to try again.
Yeah, Malzahsa 40% ahead of Chubbs so far. He got a lot of damage in there for the time being. Chubbs gets caught off guard, but the Matrix comes in just to save him in time.
I think he was like when it took a different path to the rest of his team, so he just jumped on it, and then Leaf and Dragon Eddie just going to kill Polly and Zik and keep forcing him back into the spawn room. It's all about how much they can get from this one fight. 1 minute burn for 1.0.
This is a fortress of defense from Morningstar so far. Pretty damn impressive to say the least. Hardest and the rest of his team seem to be falling a lot better. That disconnect I talked about before, it seems to be pretty much gone. Like they are playing as a unit very, very well. 1.0 have to switch things up a little bit now. Maybe move down underneath, go into point and force Morning Stars in a position they're not comfortable with. But so far, I'm pretty sure that 1.0 are going to lose the next couple of fights just off the back of economy from Morning Stars.
Could be, and they're taking a fight too, and they're not even going to let him get up the stairs. Malzahsa has already found Chubbs, and like you said, Blank, another lost fight. Reset's already coming out for 1.0. No ults committed to do it.
This is bloody confidence right here from Morning Stars. Taking these kind of fights is fairly insane, to say the least, and they're very, like I said, very confident about it. It seems like those fights are just Morning Stars as soon as they drop down, and 1.0 playing a little bit more scared than we have seen them before.
Getting 5 ults on the board for Morning Stars, not a single one available for 1.0. Scaler's about to change that though, as he gets the Transcendence online. They're going to try a different route. They've tried 3 different routes each time. They went stairs, they went underneath, they're now going for the alternative option, and then they're going to fake and go back the other way, take their original pathing up the stairs, and
so much
hopefully get there before Morning Stars move over properly and get this solidified defense in. There's the Graviton Surge coming out nice and early. Malzahsa going to keep on his shatter. There we go, drops it down the stage. They're going to body block with that Transcendence to keep the rest of the team alive.
This is crazy.
That was a great play there by Scaler to deny that aggression and keep his team alive, not only with healing, but positioning.
That is very well played. Scaler actually pops the Transcendence the right time during that grab, and now leaves below.
Dragon Eddie again, his saving grace coming in with the consumption, taking out 6 Graviton Surge, but Eng still going to find Malzahsa off the back of it. So without that Graviton Surge, they find one. Morning Stars need to play this one slow, cannot lose. They have to deal with that respawn distance. The tech eats up Hardest's grab as well. No Graviton Surges today, they're taken off the menu. As Scaler gets a D-Mech, 1.0 have taken control, but now need to start turning this into a point. Hardest wrestling it back. He's got high energy. He found Eng. There's a D-Mech Dragon Eddie. He's struggling to reset here, but they're going to put him at an advantage. Zik finding it there with the right click should seal the deal. Now it's just a scattered and mangled Morning Stars trying to move on to the point to contest this. 1.0 will take point A.
But we've got to go back to the beginning of that fight, Tridd. Cannot ignore what Scaler did there. And this guy has been getting serious value out of his Transcendences. We saw it in the match between them and British Hurricane on Junkertown. I think Scaler is one of these players that you don't really talk about too much, but he is massively integral to this team. Now they pop the rally, and they're going to go aggressive here with that added charge that they have.
Nice momentum play there, Malzahsa. Very well job from him to stay alive, but also a lot of healing coming from his team. Nice shot on the back line from Chubbs. He's get behind the shield. Graviton Surge is there, so he wants to get in for the damage. Nice charge away. Won't find the self-destruct kill, unfortunately, as Scaler's Transcendence is going to finish off as well. But Exo Wrath, nice and safe, going to press forward with the rest of the team after taking out Polly. Momentum play killed. Morning Stars should be able to set up a better defense on point B.
And it's shades of what we saw on point A. Morning Stars repel the first attack, trade up massively, and now they have the ultimates that they need to hold on to this point for a good while longer. And really with Horizon Lunar Colony, you're really wanting to look at around 3 to 4 minutes in that time back should you want to go all the way in the second round. Should 1.0 even complete here?
You have to fight against that showstopper. Graviton Surge, self-destruct combo online from Morning Stars. You've got a sound barrier. do have one defensive in the pocket. Going to take this aggressive position right outside the spawn room of Morningstars and push them around. And now they're just having a staring contest and forcing Morningstars to regress onto them. Different being is Morningstars still have the point, and they're going to press them in this confined space and hopefully win out the clash here. Big shatter from Chubbs. They took the bait, hook, line, and sinker, and there's the self-destruct and a Transcendence coming out from Morningstars defensively. Nice shatter from Mouse will knock down multiple members in the charge to isolate the rest of the team. You can see Chubbs flying off to the side to try and reinforce, but they have to fall back. They've already lost 2. Tech will take out Mouse, which will give them some ult charge towards their combo, because Zik has that grab online, and they need something to combo it with.
And that will, to be fair, there's no Transcendence on Morningstar. You could just walk forward and swing into this one. The major thing here for me is that Hardest is on 80 charge. He knows he needs to get this grab fast right now, Tridd, because he needs a good counter grab to stop Chubbs from walking forward, stop Polly from walking forward, and getting that damage in on the big clump. So Dragon Eddy either eats this grab here, or Hardest makes his way to a grab of his own before it's launched out.
He has to keep an eye out for when the DM is used. There's a nice cooldown window in which he can put his grab down, but he's not got the energy to go and try. Dragon Eddy finds 6 grab again. He wasn't paying attention. He wasn't looking close enough, and now it opens it up for Hardest to drop his own. They don't even need to commit to it, though, because they're forcing him back, and they even found Chubbs on the back end of that. You've now got to build towards another Graviton Surge for this big, impactful fight, while Morningstars can just cycle through ultimates. It's getting very dangerous for 1Point.
It's 1 minute 50 remaining. Realistically, Tridd, right now, there's 2 more fights. Morningstars have enough ultimates in the pocket to withstand for 2 more fights with ult economy advantage. 1Point have to pull a big play out if they want to win this map right here.
Moving around to the side, you can see a very aggressive Polly just running straight at Malzahsa. They want to break this shield. Shadow goes down, and that aggression is being punished as Polly is just slapped around the head by Hardest. And they're going to separate them. Malzahsa moving away, but it's Hardest bringing the damage as expected, sitting at about 100 charge. There's that first fight we said was in the pocket of Morningstars. We're looking for the second. They got the grab, bomb, and Transcendence to do it.
Morningstars are playing way, way differently to the way they played before. They were very aggressive, and now they switched over to playing this defensive playstyle, which focus and centralizes around good disengages. And that seems to be the play right now, because once you get Hardest to that high energy, he starts to wreak havoc in the backline of 1Point. So very good adjustments coming out from Morningstars right now. The major thing is, how will 1Point respond with so little to play with right here?
Aang, already at 50% HP from that right click of Hardest. We'll heal that off, obviously. He's able to just sit on that healing aura, the healing music. Technically, you can see the position he was taking. He was looking for the ult consumption on Hardest. Wasn't able to find it. There's the sound barriers. They're just pushing on to Chubbs, who's sitting in that Transcendence. There's the grab came out. Tech unable to find it. Self-destructing, being sent around the point. And he finds 2. Dragon Eddy shutting it down. 1Point need to be fast. They've got 15 seconds remaining for one last fight, and they're staggering out Tech.
They're not getting back. This is it. That's done right here. They hold them just shy of point B. Sure, 1Point get a tick and a bit on the board, but there is no way they get back to this point.
They're sprinting to point. They're trying everything they can. They're sending Eng forward. And Exoraph has already taken him out of the sky. Polly can't even drop down for the touch. Morningstars with a fantastic defense against 1Point.
And it all comes down to this new playstyle that they seem to have just formed on the fly here. It's really cool to see. So big props to the coaching staff behind the scenes that are allowing Morningstars to play so flexibly. I think the major thing here is that 1Point, once they engage on them, they expect Morningstars to take the fight. And sure, so far, 1Point have been winning this micro battle, but once Morningstars can get Hardest into that high charge regions, when they just play slow, they back it up a little bit, and then suddenly they're aggressive, and 1Point just crumble underneath that pressure so far. So really, something has to change if 1Point want to close it out right now.
Hardest definitely listening to Kenny Loggins on repeat, because he's in the danger zone the entire time. Able to keep that high charge and just being very dangerous with that. You're right, man. You're having a bit of a sing-song.
Bit of a sing-song, mate. Yeah. If someone says danger zone, you cannot not sing danger zone. It's almost impossible, I'm convinced.
Well, I was the one saying it, so I'm exempt from trying to sing it. No one wants to hear that. But Morningstars now going to go on the offensive. I imagine we're going to see mirror compositions coming up against 1Point, who are doing exactly the same thing.
Yeah, they want to hold on that exact same high ground, like you're saying right now. It's a great position to be because it means you can hold stairs. You can also deny the loop around on the left side attacker's perspective. But the major thing is that you will see a lot of teams in Overwatch League, like specifically Philly, run the Winston here. I think that's probably the best bet for you, actually, if you can play the Winston well. But in Europe, we tend to see the Reinhardt a lot more, the German Paragon.
The Swole Protector.
The Swole Protector. He's got many names, but he does the same thing. He protects the team.
And then we're going to have Morning Stars moving on to that offensive. Like we said, Tech sitting up there on the high ground, wants to retain control. They take a little peeksy around the corner, but they're being very shy about this one, being very coy, or Sasundra, as you will, as they move around the corner and go into space. No, they're going to take the stairs. It always throws me off with the depth perception. They're going to move up onto that high ground, and Chubb's on life support already. It's not looking good. They have to go home for the kill on that one. And Leaf's going to be the person, the piranha in the water, that tasted the blood and summoned the rest of the fish.
Yeah, Leaf moves forward. He's a very aggressive Brigitte. Has kind of not served him very well in the past. But this fight is done and dusted. And with 7 minutes in the time bank, it's kind of difficult not to think that Morning Stars will just finish.
They might just go for the momentum play, and it will be the platform that they need to leapfrog their reverse sweep conquest off of. And if they can do it with 4 minutes added onto this 3 minutes already, I mean, it's not exactly a tall order when you have to get not even 2/3 of that pie.
Yeah, they might just leapfrog. And you know what? At one point, they might just croak as well as and just be done with it. Morningstar, they're looking at a massive bank of ultimates, and Leaf definitely going to engage with this rally.
But they're trying to go for some displacement. They've actually isolated hardest. There's the shatter. Chubbs being knocked down frontlining, but the transcendence from Scalar will save One.PoinT once again. They're already getting progress. They translate to the point quite healthily. Resources being spent by both teams to make it happen. There's hardest grab. Dragon Eddy on top. The grab damage has already cleared out multiple members. And like we said, the leapfrog, the platform is there. Morning Stars are on the campaign for the reverse sweep.
Wow, that was gargantuan. That was a massive grab, literally every single person in it. I'm surprised that Deck 36 didn't go for the eat there, because it was pretty much the win condition that Morning Stars were looking for.
He probably tried.
He did his darndest, but that, bloody hell, that's well played. That is well played to Morning Stars.
Well, we kind of said we were going to see Morning Stars walk away with that one once we saw the 7-minute time bank onto point B, and you didn't get full completion on 1 point, so it really was up against it. It's now 2-1 scoreline. Junkertown could seal the deal for Morning Stars, or it could potentially force out that 5th map tiebreaker.
KSP too.
Could come out as well. Who knows what we'll find after this break. Hey everyone, welcome back to Overwatch Contenders. Map number 4 coming at you. It's Junkertown.
Right at you.
We're yet to see any substitutions, but Blank has a sneaking suspicion we're going to be on the cusp of seeing one.
It's going to be Kusaper. I think KSP's coming in just because he had such an excellent showing last time we did see him on Junkertown. And that was versus Team Giganti as well. He shot Davin and then immediately took out the Sombra afterwards as she was EMPing. So incredible play. So I have a sneaking suspicion that they will play the Sombra. And honestly, I don't think that One.PoinT has the players who will be able to react well to that.
So you're expecting we go to a 5th map tiebreaker
I
today?
am expecting a 5th map tiebreaker.
That could all be proven wrong.
Could be.
By the fact that we might not even see KSP in the roster.
Yeah.
And also you're also speculating as well. This is the return of Yickwards.
Yes.
For map number 4 with the old switcheroo.
Oh,
Zik still in the roster.
There is the Kusaper.
The Kusaper is here on the roster. Morningstar's taken out hardest, putting him back into the map. So, looking for more DPS-focused compositions, but KSP still has a solid Zarya under his belt if they need to go back to the GOATs.
That is something that a lot of teams struggle with as well, is having that team member who can play Zarya but also has the flex off. Is oftentimes the Zarya suffers a lot. But KSP doesn't really have that. He does have this very solid Zarya. Sure, it's not as dominant as Hardest
Very
is.
hard to do that.
Yes. I wouldn't say, in fact, dominant. I would just say that Hardest provides a lot of pressure, whereas KSP is much more team-oriented on Zarya. But what we do like to see is his Widowmaker, which is fairly crazy when it does come out, and Leaf will be on the Junkrat. So they're playing pretty classic counter dive from back in the day here, and this is going to be all to set up and make sure KSP has those sightlines whilst they provide a lot of pressure on point.
Going over with Scalar on the Moira, obviously reacting to the more damage flavor composition coming out from Morningstar. They're going to press forward already. They've got Shield Break coming in. Polly, he's going to stay on that Roadhog this time around. So this is not a GOATS. This is a quad tank Blank. Season 1, 2018.
Let's go.
We're back at it again.
Yeah, this is good. This is good to see. This is classic EU. We don't have Winstons around here. We've got quad tank as well. But the main thing that the Roadhog provides is massive shield break, and that's going to be very difficult for the Orisa to deal with, which is why they do back up to a more defensible position with that corner that they can LOS, but Polly's on the flank.
Looking for someone to grab, potentially pull away. First hook, not a success, so he's going to be holding tab and going 0% hook accuracy so far. They're looking to find something. Polly's still on the back line. He's just causing an issue. KSP just picked off. Where's the support for Morningstars? As Polly removes a huge damage threat. What are the fangs from this Viper of Morningstars?
This is pretty incredible to say the least. You get rid of KSP. He is brought back now, and Shubs is laid low. He is very, very low HP. Doesn't seem to have a shield either, so he can't protect from that.
Dredro MDS coming back in to bring that fang back into working order. He brushes, he flosses, and then he's going to be able to take away the bacteria as KSP just moving Zik out of this as Dredro even gets a kill onto Aang. 1 point momentum shut down, and now Morningstars have ults to pay with, and KSP didn't even need to use Infrasights to get that one done.
Imagine if he was damage boosted there. Scalar would have died. Now they have the Coalescence. This is pretty big for 1 point. This is what they need to sustain through fights. But let's take a look at Morningstars. That's the big 6 right there.
I was going to say, yeah, you're talking about Coalescence, mate. They got 6 ults on the board, and now they know where they're going to come from immediately. Leaf using that information to start sending his grenades in that arc. Has a Riptire as well. As soon as the fight looks like he's going to initiate, Chuck's got it! He got it! Really? Come on, man! As Polly takes out the Bongo, the Supercharger. Scalar's going to burn down Malzahar with the Coalescence, and 1 point. We thought it was going to be really hard for them to get anything done here, but they're doing well.
That's a big shot as well.
Relying on the Transcendence of Exo-Wrap, but they've already done enough. You're feeding ultimates now into 1 point, and they're going to take this one home. They've got to walk this one in and get point A.
Dredro is one hell of a mercy, though. The fact that he was able to get out from that using the super jump where you crouch whilst you Guardian Angel and you just fling yourself upwards, that's some really good mechanics right there. Got to give him a little bit of praise despite losing that fight fairly convincingly.
I mean, that Chubbs just opened it up as the rest of the fight went on. Flame Strike on that Riptire. I don't know if he guessed or whether it was a luck or whether he just knew what was happening.
I think he did know, though, because there's no reason why he threw it in that direction. There was no one there other than Leaf, so that was a big brain play if it was real.
Dragon Eddie again with the eat onto Zik, and You got KSP up in the high ground with that Ash as he goes onto a even more comfortable hero for him.
Yeah, and this is great actually because you get a lot of damage through using that
Oh, no, he
dynamite.
missed him. Oh, I thought he was going to be caught out there. He messed up the coach gun.
Scary.
Hit his head on the rafters as he tried to go under the door. Scalar with the coalescence again onto Exoraf. Chubbs, there's your vengeance. The Riptire comes in, takes him out. Polly just out of range there with that hook, but he has got a high ground. He's going to move around. Malzahsa, run away before he gets that hook back. If he gets it back, you're going to be dead. Just waiting. Actually, they're expecting him, trying to set an ambush, and Polly's not going to take the bait. Move back round to the point.
Malzahsa's causing a lot of pressure with his Hammond so far. Bob comes through, aggressive Transcendence.
Trying to break that shield. Chubbs, thankfully, he's the one who's locked on. He's trying to move and pivot
Tridd
around.
Kill them.
What, Tridd, what are you doing, man? Get out of there! And he's now trying to damage boost the Bob. Exoraf will find Polly, so the only kill to come from that is the Roadhog. We did get the whole hog off. Nice headshot there from KSP. Will find Scalar. Knock up into another shot. KSP's popping out damage, and Morningstars are going to be able to shut down 1Point's push.
Oh, I love watching KSP, man. It's crazy to see. He's just so masterful on these hit scan heroes, and it's not only him popping heads, but his positioning as well. He's always out of the way. They can't seem to get a bead on him, and then when he does come through, he's in the right place at the right time to just crush 1Point underfoot. 2 minutes 15 left on the clock. They do have that coalescence again. I know I'm talking about it, he said it's not much, but it has been securing them a lot of kills.
Yeah, coalescence has been able to get some work done in here. Malzahsa's got that minefield as well as the self-destruct from Dragon Eddie. They can cut off the retreat, throwing the Bob nice and early. They're going to have to walk into damage if they expose themselves. And they pinned him. Like, Malzahsa could just drop the minefield and they could use Dragon Eddie's mech to force him into an unfavorable position. They're just going to wait on the inside. Yeah, they got traps there as well. How are you going to walk forward? You're going to have to burn through this one. Yeah, Mousetrap. There you go. He's going to drop the minefield. I don't remember that being a component, and Zik has already gone down. They're sending the Riptire in. They're flushing him out. There's nothing these rats can do inside this haunted house of terrors. And Morningstars burning the time make down to 1 minute 30. They still have a self-destruct to play with.
That ain't fun. That ain't fun at all. I think 1Point were like, we are doomed in this situation. We've got to make this one fast and die. But Morningstars, both supportive ultimates online. This Valkyrie is actually going to be pretty huge to make sure that everyone's nice and damage boosted, nice and healed up as they come into this last fight, which could be last fight considering how long these rotations have taken for 1Point. And this is point B, remember. This is very much not like Junkertown. You usually don't see them hold here, and they back themselves into a corner once again. But once you back an animal into a corner, usually it comes out fierce, and that's what we're hoping to see from 1Point here.
Oh, Malzahsa will get back onto the high ground. I think he missed his grapple just a fraction there, but he will give up the high ground control over to 1Point. Mouse committing that shatter. Well, not Mouse was committing shatter. Chubbs did, but KSP, the rest of the boys, Morningstars, are getting the kills. Nice knock up there. We'll find Polly, who switched over to that Brigitte, moving over to the quad, not the quad tank, the goat composition. KSP still able to just get free damage. He's uncontested on the high ground. He's going to burn through everyone. Dynamite, a little bit of overkill. Just need to find that last little tippy-tappy onto Eng. He's going to get it. 25 seconds remaining. One push. Chubbs going incredibly mobile. Less of the hammer, more of the Tesla cannon. He's gone down the skill tree.
KSP must have some sort of robotics factory in his pocket. He's had Bob up pretty much consistently.
Yeah.
And you know what? 1Point, Chubbs, you've been flattened so many times by a pile driver. You may as well be the carpet in this situation.
Yeah, Mouse has been rolling over him, if you will, on this wrecking ball. And he has that minefield to box him in again. The Chubbs just going to feel some aggression here from Bob staying on top of the payload. Will force them away to the minefield as well. They went for the sleep. Scalar tried to shut down Bob, but he's woken up straight away. There's the Riptire from Leaf. KSP's already found Chubbs. Moving into the back line. No one could consume that. He's going to find Zik and get a D-Mech on Tech 3-6. Valiant hold by Morningstars. They're going to shut 1Point down shy of point B.
KSP proves to us that, you know what, DPS compositions are good. Kusapa, he's coming in hot in the fourth map.
And Polly just going to be sent back. No risk of a contest there. And Zik has to throw down a Graviton Surge just because he had it in his pocket. He may as well. Can't do anything with it now. Round's over, bud.
Yeah, man. Only 1 point taken. Point B, they hold here. That's fairly incredible, fairly impressive. Now, Morningstars, the thing that makes Junkertown so good for KSP right now is the massive sightlines. So you can pretty much guarantee that they will take point A because it's such a Widowmaker's playground, right? And now you come over to point B, sure, the sightline's a little bit closer, but now that Ash is in the game, she's very viable to close off a lot of these choke points with the dynamite and then flush them out with Bob. So Morningstar's looking at a great situation here. So when they do pull out KSP, he's a massive boon to this team. And it's going to be even crazier once we we go to playoffs when we get the changes to DPS. Obviously, we don't know what the meta will be then, but you can be sure as hell that KSP is probably going to thrive in it.
Probably might get more playtime than Hardest, depending on how picks are. But we can't excuse Hardest DPS skill. We just don't get a lot of opportunities to see it because he's so good at Zarya.
Yeah.
When we move on to the offensive, Morning Stars don't have a very high benchmark to hit on their offensive, but they still have to hit one and get past point A. 1 point can close out the series here if they hold what Morning Stars away, but Morning Stars, like we said, they're on that war path. They want that reverse sweep, and this is only Act 2. The third and final one will be that 5th tiebreaker map, assuming they can come to the conclusion.
Yeah, they're using the Sonic Arrow there just to make sure that no one's outside. Dreedro seems to be sticking with this Symmetra. I'm not sure what he's going to do with it as of yet, but Exaraf, one player that we've not really talked about too much, but he has been very good this entire series.
This is going to be so difficult for them to deal with the teleporter. The mobility coming out purely from that against the GOAT's composition is going to be hard. They want to contest nice and early down here, and KSP is just able to rain damage at the shield. It's not going to last very long at all. And Mal's doing his best to just walk the payload in, but they have to emerge, and they're isolating and killing them. Dynamite comes in. I think that was consumed rather than shot up, so they will avoid that damage as Mal's pushes them back in, further away from the payload. Exaraf has already found them. This is just going to open it up for Morning Stars. 1 point. They've been dismantled by this composition.
And hardly any charge gained other than Scalar. And rightly so, he's probably healing the entire team up the entire time.
Using Orb on cooldown.
Under pressure. Now Morning Stars going into this one. Dragon Eddie's got a Riptire, and unless Chubbs can make another heroic Fire Strike, you can see this one picking up one member of 1 point. Polly back over the Roadhog right now. Was shades of seasons before where you basically just use the Roadhog to pull the fire out the air.
Where's the Riptire coming out from above? We'll find Zik. Shut down any hope of charge he was hoping to get. Nice pile driver, but the Coalescence is there from Scalar to heal everyone up. Leaf able to burn through him with the barrage. Polly will find the Leaf, but like, come on, dude. They're just being rolled over at this point. Morning Stars walking it into point A. They want that map 5, Blank.
They're just rolling it on home right now, and KSP, he's really changed the playstyle right here. Morning Stars seeming to thrive with this heavy DPS composition they're playing. Again, like I said, I don't think that 1 point really have any of these star DPS players that can deal with Morning Stars when they switch over this. They look much more comfortable on 3-3.
Dragon Lee going for the retreat, throws out the charge as well, just to try and build some space between him and Chubbs, who switched over to that Winston. So they're going for the 3-3, but they want this Monkey Goats flavor. Couple of ults online, they got the Riptire, Minefield, and Bob. That 7th man of Morning Stars could join the party as well as
another
Dragon Eddie sending the Riptire in. Just wants to take out Polly rather than go for it. So they're missing the Brigitte. Mount Asa on the high ground with the mines. Just sheer dominance. Borderline perfection from Morning Stars on this Junkertown offensive.
At 1 point, have just basically been a couple of obstacles that Morning Stars just blow up and get out the way, and then they go back to spawn again. They've probably been in spawn more than they have actually been on the map. 1 point now, they don't even have the key ability they need to hold this, which is the Nano Boost, which they would ideally put over onto Chubbs. He would dive the backline and make sure that KSP can't do too much, in which case the rest of 1 point, they would deal with the other members of the team. They don't have that win con right now. All they have is the sound barrier.
We're going to use that to kick things off, try and go into the fight. Leaf so close to that barrage. He's just seen the damage come out from from 1 point. He's going to move around to the back end. There's that Nano Boost, popping into someone. Leaf just drops down. Hello, Peekaboo. Scalar being removed by the barrage. And as Chubbs jumping back to the rest of his team. They've given up position control. They have lost Leaf. It was a 1-for-1 trade. But the benefit of time is with Morning Stars. They have a lot to play with here. Zik will take out KSP. If you're Morning Stars, you're looking for the reset now, but we'll bring him back with the res from Dreedro. Chubbs pops Primal Rage, goes up for the high ground, wants to knock these birds out of the nest and make sure they can't stay up there. But they can all fly back. Poach Gun, and then a movement from Exaraf up onto there. Mercy can just fly up as well. Primal Rage not getting much done there, but they're going to send the Self-Destruct over the top. Hang on a minute, Leafs on the Doomfist, Tech 3-6 finds 2, Riptire comes in. They're still committing to this one. I think they need to back off and reassess this because they're not winning this fight and they only have inches to push it.
It's a really good switch from Leaf, actually, and I agree with it completely. Going over the Doomfist, it shuts down Chubbs pretty effectively, and as long as he sticks around with KSP and Dreedro, but it looks like they will be switching up here. They're going to go back over that 3-3 barrier, knowing that in these tight spaces as we come towards the end of point B, the 3-3 just has a lot of prowess here. At 1 point, they're not making the switches as of yet, so they will be forced to play in unfavorable composition, which is the Winston, so they have to make massive use out of this high ground advantage.
Scaler, he's the closest to an ultimate. Zik's got one in his pocket, have to drop it down nice and early. There we go. That's the opening they need to fight against this unfavorable composition.
Nice.
But the Transcendence is there.
Biotic.
Chubbs comes in with the kills off the back of the denied healing. 1Point are able to hold this one out, but they've still got to hold for 2 more minutes. They've lassoed control. They just need to get the hog tie in.
Yeah, but the major thing here is that 1Point, despite all the brutalities that have suffered, Morningstars, their ult economy is not good compared to 1Point.
Yeah.
1Point, as long as they can stay consistent and trade up consistently over these 2 fights that will be happening over the next 2 minutes, 1Point could potentially win this.
Exoraf has moved over to the Ana as well, so he's adapting where he can to try and gain that advantage.
Again.
Chubbs, Polly, Exoraf, no problem there. Chubbs did get the biotic denial from that Exoraf pick, but it's not substantial enough to get the kill. 1Point wrangling control, still keeping control of it, only using the rally to get that done. They still retain that strong ult economy. He's 115 on the clock.
Exoraf, I mean, Scaler here has been so good on this Ana. The bio grenade comes through, hits Exoraf and Redro at the same time. As long as he can continue doing this, it's last fight. 5 ultimates on the side of 1Point already. There goes the Nano Boost.
Nano Boost in early. They're going to be throwing down Chubbs, but he has to move around. He's been slept on the back line.
That's massive.
That's going to expire a lot of that damage. And look, they're setting up for the kill. They
No
went for the
primal.
charge. The shield bash. He's been denied entirely. He'll come back with that. But 1Point need to find a way to make this work.
What
Shatter
Polly.
has just been whiffed. They're not going to find anyone there. And they're going to keep down as KSP guns through. He's got a Graviton Surge. He has to take cover from the self-destruct. On top of the Mega, Malzasa still caught out by that one as Chubbs wants to move back into the fight. Tech 3-6, obviously going to be the recipient of that kill as Exoraf finds Polly. There's a yeet with the grab across the map.
Yeet,
and they're going to throw the biotic grenade to keep the top up. Tech 3-6 will get demech, but Chubbs surely has to find this kill as he's committed so much. And the Primal Rage, Sound Barrier, being used by Morningstars. They still have to work towards an ultimate as they commit the Nano Boost to keep someone up there. As
Big
KSP
bio.
moves closer. Scaler being denied healing for now. Zik can get it, but there's no one in range to help him out as Eng can be taken out by Malzasa. They're walking this one in. Someone has to touch, someone has to contest, and it's Chubbs to try and get in there, but he's deleted straight away. Morningstars level up the series. We're going to map 5.
A terrifying scene of events for Morningstars there. He looked real close towards the end, but 1Point, they do pull it out of the bag. And you know what, Morningstars, they take it away. It's real difficult, especially in that situation when you're playing with Scaler on the Ana and Chubbs on the Winston. Obviously, Winston doing less damage to armor at the moment. And right now, he's got a big chunky pool of armor on his HP, so he can just walk forward and consistently get a lot more value than Chubbs could on this Winston.
Well, that was map number 4. It's tied series. We're going to a control map to decide it all. The reverse sweep. We're just looking for Act 3 to come in for Morningstars. Do not go anywhere. Thanks for sticking with us. We're about to jump into map number 5. This, of course, means we've got a tied series. 1 point took an early lead. First half was all theirs, and it's been a tale of 2 of them because Morningstars come back, flip it, starting the reverse sweep. They just need to finish it off on Nepal.
Yeah, the start had been pretty dull towards the beginning, but it's starting to get brighter and brighter. And now we come to Nepal. Can it continue, or will it be a supernova, and will 1 point win out in the end? I think it's tough to say. KSP was subbed in on this map a while back when we saw him playing on Shrine on the Widowmaker. But at 1 point, I think they can effectively take this one. Shub's shown us that he does have some great skill on the Winston. And if he pulls that out on Shrine, he could probably shut down KSP as he did during that second point on Junkertown.
Might be able to pull that one off. It depends on the round rotation we get as well. I can see a reality where KSP is in this roster for this map, but also where Hardest is as well.
It's a flip of a coin, really, if we see that Shrine coming out. Sanctum, sorry, but we will see Shrine here. This is very much a free dominated map. But KSP here is in, so they are hoping to get that Sanctum pick out and possibly pull out a free win. KSP is very good after all. But Shrine here, this is one that's great for free. And I think 1 point here, they do kind of have the advantage, as we saw on King's Row and the initial control map.
Well, he's going to be looking for some kind of damage, I'm sure, but like we saw on the previous map as well, able to play that Zarya if requested by his team. 1 point, I think they're just going to be sticking with Goats, though. They can run through this one quite comfortably. They won the previous control map when they did play this. Of course, Hardest was in the roster when they went back to Oasis. They might be looking to do more of the same on the Nepal.
Morningstars, they look like they're starting out on this DPS composition. I don't really agree with it because there's so much opportunity to LOS, especially on Shrine, which is why it's so good for a Goats composition, but they are running out of it. 1 point will have to make the switch off onto the Moira real quick. I think they didn't expect this DPS comp, especially on Shrine.
Surely not, and KSP's setting up some good sightlines already. You look, just see the silhouettes going back for a full retreat. They don't want to risk it. They're going to try and go for something else. They're keeping.
Yep.
Obviously with Tech 36 on the Diva, Chubb's going over to the Winston. Scaler picking up that Moira.
Yeah, now this seems to be the good composition that you play on this one. Giganti often playing this with the Winston as well, and it's to make sure you can contest the high ground. But what will be mainly happening is making sure that 1 point takes control of the point.
Well, they need to get in there fast. They've already given up control over to Morningstars. Someone has to touch from Morningstars. KSP's already found Polly. It's not looking good for 1 point to put their foothold in this one and get that flag planted, but they have to play around the sightlines. They're very conscious of where KSP is. Leaf taking out Chubbs, just going to bully the Winston. We thought it was going to happen on Junkertown. It's moved over to Nepal, and despite having a very strong foothold to work from, 1 point can't capture the point.
I think we just saw KSP hit 3 shots in a row in succession, all headshots as well as. Morningstars, they don't have the sightlines to work with, but any time that 1 point points the head out, KSP does not miss. And now 1 point, they make the switch over to the Sombra here. They hope to deny the Doomfist and the Pharah as well as the Hamster. So a really good pick here to pretty much decimate the majority of Morningstar's composition.
Assuming they can find a way in and avoid the damage. You have got that perma stealth available for Zik, but they're just firing into these confined spaces. Making it really difficult for 1 point to do much of anything, and they're moving very close to this danger zone as Malzasa goes in looking to disrupt, and they're going to hold on to this point until at least 70% they can get a body on the point. KSP found Zik! That's not how it should be happening. Leaf may have been stunned up, but he's still alive. Gets that extra shielding from the use of his abilities as Dragon is sitting on a barrage. They're trying to remove that high ground as Chubbs went in. They wanted to go for the counter-offensive. 70% blank, and they haven't captured a single percentage of the point from 1 point. This map could just handedly go over the Morningstars.
And this is really odd because this is not how this matchup plays out. The way this matchup is that the free-ish composition always takes point and has point pressure. Morningstar's composition slowly grinds away, kills the members of 1 point on point, retakes, and slowly bumps up that percentage. Morningstars have had consistent control, and you know what? It's because KSP, he is an artist on this Widowmaker.
Picasso, Van Gogh, doesn't matter. He goes by many names as KSP this time around, or Kuspa, as Leaf goes in. Use the rocket punch, not going to find anyone. You go down nice and early. Malzas has been caught out there, was hacked up, gunned down as well. Self-destruct will clear Dragon Eddie. They're looking for a meteor strike to be big. They're finding the pillar, will drop on high, drops down low with the rocket punch, but he's already stunned up, and he's going to be burnt down by Chubbs. good, solid start from Morningstar's. Got up to 99%, but the flip has finally come in.
4 ultimates there, Tridd, though, to take that point back. And now Morningstars can just make the switch back over to that free. They have Transcendence presence there as well, so they can make an aggressive engage. Zik has to get this Sombra ultimate off. And you know what? Xraft, he has to get this Transcendence off as well as.
He has to decloak. He's going to go straight for there. He's stunned up. Couldn't get the EMP off. That's huge for Morningstars. He had to recall for safety. And they got a D-Mech of tech. It's Chubbs. He's got the primal range, but there's not much else he can do until he burns out Exoraf. Just completely pummels him to the ground. Polly did get the return kill onto Malzahsa, so he will be sitting on it. As Zik's just been cancelled out by KSP. Polly again finds Leaf, but this shouldn't have been an even fight. This should have been one-sided for 1Point, and they're still trying to find a way to survive as Chubbs dance around, will get healing, point control, still in favor of the underdog team. But that shouldn't have been that clean. It shouldn't have been that, no, sorry, it shouldn't have been that dirty of a fight.
No, now, 1Point there making their way up to some ultimates of their own, specifically the Transcendence. They need that to make sure that KSP doesn't get this Graviton out easy. They have the combo, but it's really up to Leaf here. There is no charge because there's no Reinhardt present.
But it's Zik. He's going to have to play this one fast because he's significantly behind KSP when it comes to ult charge. And one fight will decide it at this point in the game. They're going to send Mounts in nice and early. Got the bubble from KSP. Getting closer and closer to the primal raid, but he's not going to get it out in time. Chubbs finding Leaf. He got him with the fire strike. There's the Graviton surge from KSP. Malzahsa does have enough for that primal raid. He's going to pop it nice and early. Self-destruct is there. Huge displacement gives Dragon Eddie the triple. Morningstars have the man advantage. They just need to clean off the point, get the flip, and this round is theirs. And there's not much 1Point can do about it. The mobility from Malzahsa dancing around, taking out any opponents that come their way, but they're still stalling it out.
Really?
Tech even taking out KSP here. They're coming back in. They got the flip. Overtime's coming down, but man advantage is in favor of 1Point.
Dredro making his way off the point right now, but Leaf is ever so low. Zik finally goes down, but Dragon Eddie, he sustained massive amounts of damage. Dredro down to 25% HP, but currently 1Point, they are still on the point.
Leaf's going to be found out by Chubbs. Dragon Eddie did get a D-Mech onto Tech. Dredro comes in with the chopping onto Chubbs, shuts him down as well as they move on to the point. KSP, he's going to swing back in on the Tracer. Scaler going over to Matt, but Dragon Eddie's found him out. The disruption from Hamston now being ended by Malzahsa. They just need to clear off Zik, who easily finds Exoraf on the back line. The contestants still coming in. There's the D-Mech. Clear one out. You should be able to get it. And Morningstars capture the first round.
This was not the start that 1Point wanted here. Shrine is absolutely the map you need to win to almost ensure you this control map. Now, Sanctum is definitely in the books right now. Here it is, as if by magic. 1Point, they have to play one hell of a game right now. This is the map that it was theirs to loot. It was theirs to win right now because they have to take this map if they want to continue forward. But this is the one where Morningstars, they have definite advantage here.
That double sniper composition in the hands of Leaf and KSP is lethal. And I think 1Point were aware of that. And now, because this is the rotation, it could miss out on that tiebreaker, and it could be a 2-0 scoreline on the PAL, but we might not be giving 1Point enough credit when it comes down to fighting against this composition. We're just going off the fact we know Morningstars play this almost perfectly in the past.
Yeah, when we saw it come out, it was crazy good. Chubbs, however, shown himself to be a very decent Winston so far. They are just setting him up with the bubble, but they're making a full rotation on Morningstars to the other side of the point to get KSP into position. Nice hook there, but an even better allied.
The bubble going to be there to shut that down. Malzahsa's already found Polly with the Hulk, opening this one up for Morningstars to walk onto the point. There's the hook, throws him off the edge. He weaves it. Dragon Eddie guaranteeing the kill. Scaler will answer back with one of his own, but you've got Mercy on your team. The resurrection brings Malzahsa back for a net 0. There was no loss there for Morningstars. It's just all wins.
It was a really good idea. A really good thing, though. 1Point managed to flip the point there towards the beginning. At least they got some percentage on the clock, and it's not as dire as it used to be. But Orisa is very good once the point is taken. She's not good at retakes, but she is amazing at holding. So 1Point, they've got a very long fight ahead of them.
Leaf, with that Dragon Strike, just waiting for the opportunity to put it in. You've got a split team there as Chubb's going to operate by himself. Coalescence nice and early. Chubb's on the point trying to contest them. Dredro's already popped the Valkyrie. Leaf's gone down. Will keep hold of that ultimate, not throwing it out into the fight. But that Valkyrie into the Transcendence as Dragon Eddie finds Chubbs. KSP taking out Scaler. The Hulk nearly finds Eng, but he's going to stay on the point. Dragon Eddie's just going to clear them out with the whole Hulk. He finds one. He finds two after getting the D-Mech onto Tech. And the percentage keeps climbing up for Morning Stars.
That's really good here. Now it means that actually someone's going to have to go back and wait for Dragon Eddie. He does go over to this D.Va, make sure he can go back to the point as fast as possible. There is no Lucio here, so there's no speed boost. OnePoint can get back onto this one and potentially go for a retake whilst Dragon Eddie is not quite here yet.
Nice halt to pull him up into the sightline of KSP, removing them from the cover, buying him more time to get damage. Leaf gonna eat up the Dragon Strike. Tech V6 not gonna allow that ultimate to come play, but here's the supercharger to reinvigorate the fight. Self-destruct wants to go behind the shield, finds Dreedro. Unbelievable as you take out the Mercy and the supercharger. Chubb's now gonna jump in. This is the momentum play for OnePoint. They jump onto the point and scatter Morning Stars. Great shutdowns of those ultimate abilities and disrupting the economy of Morning Stars.
Now OnePoint have a long task ahead of them, and boy is it arduous. Morning Stars, they have to get back on this point, so they know they have to make some switches up. They can no longer run the Orisa here because it's not very good at retake. OnePoint have the clear advantage, but once again, Chubbs, he's on this Winston. It's not his favorable hero, it would seem. His Reinhardt does appear to be a lot better, but OnePoint, they've got ult advantage right now.
Moving in, Dreedro's already found
Zig's off the edge
He
again.
just keeps being sent down this pit, being shut down all the time. Thankfully, OnePoint, they got the tools, they got the resources and the initiative to bring them back to the brink and keep getting that percentage. But Zik, he needs to stop falling into that pit. Get this man a parachute or at least a cable, a safety rope, something.
Tether himself to Chubbs. I don't know, man. This guy has to stop falling off. He's put himself in bad positioning right now. Scaler absolutely has to make the switch off to Zen, but it's going to take him a while to get back to the point. And no Discord or present means that Malzasa's pretty free to do what he wants.
Polly's already going to take him out, though. You said he was pretty free. Polly, he's the warden. He's going to lock him up and send him straight to the jail of death. We're going to keep hold of the point for now. Primal Rage there. Oh, no, that's unfortunate for you, Exoraph. He wants to pop the trans early, but he's getting resources to keep him alive. Primal Rage runs out just in time. So that means Exoraph was able to keep up, not blow that crucial ultimate because they're coming towards a danger zone of their own. 75% for OnePoint. We're in final fight territory for both of these teams.
Zik has been very patient, however. I'm very impressed by that to hold on to this grab for so long as well. KSP just getting his own right now, but they've got the wombo combo. The self-destruct is available. Zik drops his own down.
Plus, it wants to lock down Malzasa, but there's Exoraph with the Transcendence regardless. Polly's going to find Leaf without that healing because he had to go and save Winston. KSP still finds Zeng. They're going to get a kill each. Tech 3-6 being taken out. Won't get the remake, but Exoraph is going to go down. He got that Transcendence out nice and early, so he might be able to get back in time and start building towards it. Dreedro will commit the sound barrier, goes over to the Moira instead. What's going to coalesce off? Malzasa finds Scaler, and now he's locked in a Hell in a Cell with Zik, but it's Dragon Eddie to take him out. Malzasa will still go down. Flip went into Morning Stars, but now they cannot lose control of the point.
Taking it 80% means they can afford one flip here. They weren't in one fight territory like they were on Shrine. There is one more opportunity here. Zik is 30% ahead of KSP, so there is an opportunity for a grab during this fight. Cannot be eaten by Dragon Eddie.
He also has to stay on the map as well. He cannot be sent down that pit, especially when he's in that position to potentially win it all out. Scaler has already found Malzasa. That's going to be taking down that huge tank front and that backline pressure that he can exert onto it. And they only have to use on Dragon Eddie to stay on point to keep him up. KSP's looking for the damage, going to commit something to this fight because Zik has that Graviton Surge. They're going to get the flip nice and early. Now Morning Stars has to aggress. The Coalescence comes out as expected from Exoraph. Zik's already going to find Dreedro. What is going to happen here is KSP throws down his Graviton Surge, but they've already lost 2 members. This was the map we said. Dragon Eddie with the double kill to level it out. Scaler will punish him. He goes down. He got the grab out this time, thankfully. Morning Stars coming back for the brink as Mouse swings the hands. They're off the point. What?
It's a Z9.
You had it in the bag. You could have ended the series. Instead, letter number. And there's one number you need to worry about. It's round number 3 to decide it all. We're going to Village.
It's a big C for Malzasa in the corner. I'll tell you that now. He thought he had it. He already had it packed in. There was a wonderful whip shot actually from Polly in the midst of that. I want to draw people's attention onto, I believe it was Dragon Eddie on the hamster. He whip shotted him off, and as he was doing that, Leaf pressed the pile driver to get back on, but instead he just went straight down into the Sanctum itself. But OnePoint, they have tied it up right now, and Tech 36 on this Mei, we've seen him doing work with before. It is excellent, especially on Village. Every single choke point is 100% Mei wallable. It's going to create a lot of trouble for Morning Stars if they want to take this point back.
Mal's going for some disruption as he jumps into 1 point. They've already found Leaf. Chubbs taking him out. Great start for 1 point. They get control of this point early. They just have to play around whatever choke they choose. Chubbs going for a ride, courtesy of the concussive blast. Leaf changing over to that Junkrat. There's the Maywall just to guarantee that point capture. Dynamite goes in. Hang on a minute. Oh, you need to get some healing. Polly goes down. KSP just opens it up straight away. He gets another headshot on the back line.
He's crazy.
Kill. You know, he goes for Chubbs.
He's
walking forward, and he's going to be another one as Leaf comes in and clears out Scalar.
Unbelievable.
This should have been an easy hold for 1 point with that composition, but Morningstars pick away, go for the retakes like we were supposed to expect on Shrine.
You saw how patient KSP was, breathing slowly and calmly on the high ground before he just unleashed just unparalleled damage from this Ashe. 1 point coming back to this one. They have the sound barrier. That's the big thing here. That's what they need to withstand the brunt force of Morningstar's comp right now.
Nice knock up into the barrage combo. Sound barrier was good, but Tech is going to find Leaf. Immediate res coming out from Tridd to bring back into the fight. So we're only going to play with one-man disadvantage. But then Tech obviously going to clean out Dragon Lady with the melee in the sky, more than likely. Valkyrie's going to be burned down and 16 on 100 charge. This is the one fight for 1 point. Going to retake it, but they're going to have to get a lot of progress out there to make it work. Yeah, it's a bit weird of Morningstars to commit this much to it. Not sure about that Transcendence from Exoraph.
I think this is just a misunderstanding of the comp right now. You use these ultimates to retake. You don't use them to hold, because 1 point, they're going to hold on for so much longer as they build up towards these ultimates.
They have burned an extra 20% out of this. They're going to keep going. They're turning the fight around.
Take it back.
1 point should have been able to close this one out, but a few highly mobile picks coming out from Morningstars brings them back into the fight and forces them to 60%.
That's a really good understanding of when a fight is winnable and not. KSP just went all in with that bomb. 1 point, they're still in this one, but Morningstars, they're starting to tick up. It's looking a lot like how Shrine did.
Couple of ults on the board for 1 point. They got that Graviton Surge. They got the Meat Tenderizer combo. Winston pops the Primal Rage, starts slamming down that meat. Tech 36 going to divert attention. Coalescence being used just to take KSP out of the sky. He obviously used the coach trying to get up there, and now he's turning his attention to Dragon Eddy as well as the point. But we're getting into that 85%. No kills coming out for Morningstars. Will bring KSP back into the fight, but now they're looking for the flip. Someone has to go and contest. They're happy to give it up. One more fight should seal the deal. Barrage will find the D-Mech and a kill onto Polly. But Engel should take him out. Minefield as well. Finds Tech 36 while he was D-Max. And now Chubbs is dancing around. Primal Rage smacks Exoraph in the back of the head and moves towards the point. 1 point have taken control. They can't lose it.
Chubbs has to go back over to the Reinhardt right now. You know Morningstars are going to make those switches up, go back over to that free composition. At 1 point, they understand that by now. Scalar also makes a switch over to the Zenyatta. Again, like I said before, 1 point, they seem to be a lot stronger in this free composition. KSP not quite able to catch up with Zik when he's playing this Zarya role.
There's a sound barrier, self-destruct skirted into the back line. They went for the stun. It was enough to find Malzahsa, and they're missing the big tank for this next fight. But they've already nearly got the flip themselves because they're the ones with point control. D-Mech comes out. They were going to see Leaf going down low as well. One fight coming in for 1 point as Chubbs is the only victim so far. Could be a second as KSP turns around onto Polly. Will get burnt down afterwards. Damage superiority coming in from Zik.
And Exoraph uses Transcendence during that fight. I don't agree with that. 70% and climbing right now. It might have been the play to retake it. We've seen Morningstars do it before, but 1 point, they're close towards the next grab. They might be able to close this one out in the next fight if Zik can get this grab online. Dragon Eddy has to be a hero right now. He has to eat it. It's probably the only option they have.
Might be what's going to save them from them losing this round, losing the map, and of course the series as well. As this is the tiebreaker, there are no second chances. Leaf jumping around to the back line. They're going to mix it up with their avenue of approach. Rally comes in nice and early. The grab from Zik is online. It's hooked up multiple members.
No way.
They're sitting in it, but Chubbs is just going to swing through. He's found two. The Transcendence comes out too late to save the team, and their Scalar gonna burn through, keep him up, heal him throughout the entire onslaught. Morningstars wanted the comeback. It was not to be. 1 point, take the series.
Through what has been a DPS hailing, they have walked it all the way home. The raincoat is on, and you know what? They walk through the door. Another victory for 1 point, bringing home the bread.
Fantastic play there, and well, That's 1Point getting another victory on the board. I think that actually moves them above Morning Stars in the standings, so they're starting to climb back up. Amazing what a bit of stability can do for a roster like 1Point. When it was a chaotic and difficult start, they still found the way. And their opponents actually just get easier as the weeks go on if you look at the standings and how they shaped up. So this could be a team, maybe not in that top semi-final bye that we might get, but they're definitely up there in terms of seeding moving into playoffs if they keep up this performance.
Yeah, things have just gone from strength to strength with this roster at the moment. The squad is doing so well together. I think Morning Stars, they play extremely well here on the Horizon Lunar Colony when they switched up their playstyle a little bit, playing a little bit more cautious and reserved. Then you go over to KSP and things start to fall apart a little bit because you don't have Hardest, that big Zari, to fall back on and look at Polly. He was watching KSP for the longest time.
I don't know how Morning Stars don't pick up on that. It's not as if Roadhog is a petite figure.
No, the silhouette is rather large, that's for sure. But I think Dredro is one player I have to highlight myself. I think his Mercy play is pretty excellent. We hardly saw him die at all. It was almost as if he was immortal. And the amount of reses that he gets out, which he has no business getting out in the first place, he still manages to do and then get back to his team and provide that unwavering amount of support.
KSP putting on a highlight montage, as always, when he gets to play
KSP.
DPS.
That's all it is.
This is what we now welcome you to the Junkertown section of our highlight package, featuring KSP.
And also KSP with KSP.
Leaf, he's going to break that trend, comes in with the Pharah, able to pull that out on multiple occasions, as well as moving on to the Junkrat as well, which obviously came out. I think Dragon Eddy had some coverage of that of his own. But DPS heavy, they were forcing 1Point into these tight corridors, and when they had to emerge onto the point, punishing them for doing so. But
once Morning Stars had to make the switch over to 3-3, we saw 1Point have the definite advantage over and over again. So it's really good that Morning Stars have this flexibility in their composition. I just think that maybe this 3-3 that they are playing needs to be brought up to scratch a little bit, or play a little bit more how they played on Horizon Lunar Colony. That was excellent work from them. And it all came down to this point here on Shrine where Malzessa got caught in the corner. And you know that corner piece? It's not on the point, buddy. So yeah, they just let it up. They could have actually closed out their Tridd, which is the crazy thing.
It's the thing that they're going to be kicking themselves over. It's such a devastating loss when it was just like, it's just meters of the map geometry that made the difference there, and they could have ended up getting the victory, denying Village altogether, and find themselves in with the victory. So you can't really beat them up too much for that one.
No, not at all. We do have an interview now, and it is with the famed boy himself.
It's going to be with Colsty, the coach and kind of manager, backroom staff in general of 1Point right now. And Colsty, how are you feeling after that win, especially against a team like Morning Stars?
I'm not gonna lie, I almost shed a tear.
Really? How did you feel when you saw Shrine went over to you when the big C9 came through?
I mean, it's pretty unfortunate. Like, they couldn't do anything anyway for the C9. It's not a real C9. The Diva Bomb was denying the whole point.
Okay, I see.
Spotted something that we didn't, thankfully.
Guy's got great eyes. Not that, unlike me. That's why I need glasses.
Anyway, yeah. But I am really happy. I'm really proud of the team. And yeah, it's just really happy.
I bet you are, mate. I mean, I had a little question for you, mate. You're back on, back all the way back in the day on Season 0, Movistar Riders. You were playing on that one. How do you feel like that experience playing through so many seasons on main tank has helped you translate over to being a coach?
I think it's mostly like when you're a main tank, you are like a big core of game plans. And game plans execution mostly, since you are the one triggering the execution. And it helped me understand the role of each other. Like, I understood every role on a basic level, not on an advanced level, obviously. And from my coaching side, like, I mostly help Eng and Chubbs, and I mash game plans into the head, since they're the two big callers in the team. So as long as each of them are alive, like, the team is going to do great during games.
Yeah. Thanks very much, Colsty. Thanks for joining us. Congratulations on the win. Good luck with the rest of the season.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Well, there you have it. 1Point deny the reverse sweep. Attempted valiantly by Morning Stars. Get another win on the board and move closer and closer to securing themselves a spot in the playoffs.
Yeah, really nice speaking to Colsty again. It's like the second time we've spoken to him. He's very humble each and every time, so it's great to see him on the up and up.
Okay. Well, thanks for joining us. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to bring you our second series of the night.